Hey everyone, and welcome to the Solar Eclipse aftermath reading. So how did you guys feel during the solar eclipse? Like, that day before, day after, on the day? I just felt like it was eclipsing, energy out of our lives, that it's like, the old DOS computers, the old programming, going from DOS to Windows. Felt like that. It's like old programming that is just obsolete and there's no basis for it anymore. And it's just too hard. It's too convoluted, unnecessary. People don't understand it. So it's like things that were just running in your like subconscious background. It's like, I don't need that. I don't need to think that about myself anymore. Really don't care what so-and-so thinks of me, and not checking yourself anymore, like just that doubt of like, oh, should I have said this? Should I have said that? You're just like, I just don't care anymore. I just really don't give a stuff, which is amazing. So we've got these cards. This is what we should like kind of surrender if we've got any lingering doubt, because we can still release stuff with this eclipse because it still will play out for the next 6 months, and this is what our focus should be, but my guides are saying pull these cards. First, fortune. Oh my god. And if things are clearing out, it can't stay an empty space for too long. So, well, how was that? Accurate. We'll stick you here. Fortune. Yes, please. And I keep that for like the basis of our reading. What else came out? Choice. Wow. So I feel like there's still some stuff that might be binding your thought process, that can be inhibiting opportunities and things coming through. It's like we do feel like we get ourselves stuck more than anything. We feel like we're bound and we'll have a choice. Can I tell you like a dark story? Relevant, and then I'll shift gears. So as horrible as it is, so they've got these quarantine camps. There's one in Northern Territory, which is one of our states in Australia. And I've been seeing stuff on TikTok. Obviously, they don't show it on mainstream media, about putting the Indigenous people in these camps, which is not good. Anyway, but so you would feel like you didn't have a choice, you were dictated to. It's like a group of them broke out, and it's like high maximum security, high walls. I don't know how they did it, but go them. They had the intention to break out, and they did. Do you know what I mean? So even when you're in a place like quarantine camps / prison, you have a choice. You always have a choice. Like run as far as you can. Anyway, so moving along. Because, sometimes in our life we feel like, oh God, no, this is the worst situation in my life. I can't see how I can get out of that. But when we trust, and I just got goosebumps, but we always shift through it, don't we? It's like breaking up, having a bad divorce, or going, oh my God, my landlord's kicking me out. I only have like a certain time to live. Yeah, it's stressful. It's so stressful. But did you survive it? Did you get through it? Did something just turn up? Did the universe just help you? Did you ask for it? So that's a big thing too, because I'm being told, and you can do this now, the solar eclipse time is a great time for a wish, because it was in Sagittarius. The new moon was in Sagittarius. So that's like amplifying this energy, plus the solar eclipse. It was like, okay, it was like literally having, on the moon, your wish, and the eclipse comes along and goes, okay, shifts it off into manifestation land. And that's what I'm seeing. So you can still do it now. And I forgot to do mine, so I will also be doing it. And look, there's a rebellion I was discussing. Because to make changes in your life, you have to be rebellious. Fulfillment, because taking risks and speaking out and doing the right thing and following the voice of your soul escape. I feel like it's just bringing these out because of the story I was also telling just before. How funny is that? How synchronistic is that? Companionship. There's definitely like, I feel like with Saturn in Aquarius, I mean, Saturn, you know, is a planet of restriction. Aquarius is like a, you know, a sign of freedom. I really do feel like, why have I lost my thought? I feel like saying it doesn't like that placement. I'm not sure if it's exalted in that sign. I think it actually belongs to that sign. So Aquarius and Uranus. All right, I'm going to play Wonder Girl. I haven't slept much. Sorry, guys. But I'm feeling like it's Saturn's a planet of restriction. Aquarius loves freedom. That's a great time for things to be challenged, and we're seeing this now. Society is challenging the global structure, but that is going to lead to fulfillment. That's going to lead to unity, bringing together like the right people that need to be around you, you know, and that's the only way that we can break free from a society that is capitalist and doesn't work for spiritual people like us, because we want freedom, we want fairness, we want to live a natural life as much as possible, and the society we're in is preventing that. So what have we got? The surrenders. We've got surrender to play. Oh, I love these. Surrender to play, surrender to trust, surrender to your fear of change. Remember, you've always been safe before, and the outcome will be fulfillment when you just move forward anyway. You can be scared. You're allowed to be scared. Change is scary, and our ego wants to keep us safe, so it makes us fear it. It's okay, but you're not going to die. So how do you bring about more trust in your life? You have to be playful. And that's like been a massive message that's like literally, I think it's come out, you know, in every single video or the TikToks I've been doing. It's just, yeah, Spirit wants you to play because it's the quickest way to elevate your vibration. It honestly is to be joyous, to do the things you love. You know, even though I know I shouldn't buy card decks, I buy new card decks, and I'm like, oh, it brings me so much joy, and then it makes me want to do more videos and more TikToks and stuff, and you know, and it helps other people too. That brings me joy. So you just do what you got to do: singing, dancing, you know, walking in nature, just admire, buying yourself flowers and just staring at them like beautiful, 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 playing with your crystals, like redesigning your house. The Hierophant. So this is a very spiritual card. Like, you guys are meant to be leaders. You already know that. Doesn't matter what spiritual aspect or psychological aspect you share that with people, but you are a leader and you need to share your knowledge. And are you doing that? Can you please start that today? Ace of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Oh my God, lots of earth energy here. But look at that. It's just like a lot of joy. I feel like the solar eclipse, it's like rewarding you for how you've been presenting yourself to reality. It's rewarding you for the hard work you've done. It's rewarding you for those trying times where you haven't really believed in yourself. If other people don't believe in you, I'm getting this from the Page of Swords. Like it's like you had that voice running in your head, in your subconscious, that script. Or you had it confirmed to you because people don't support you or whatever the situation is for you. But now you're pushing past or reaching past beyond that point of people don't believe in me, people don't understand me, people don't care what I do, but people do care what you do, because when you're going out there and following your joy and following your excitement and sharing your gifts and the things you're passionate about, that's when, like, you know, the people will align to you. And the more you do that, the more you will believe in yourself and the more people will come to you. It's hard at the beginning, because in the beginning you're kind of like, oh, but I'm doing it and I'm not getting that outside validation. That's because you haven't built your confidence up enough yet. And the more you do, the more you let go of that outcome. And you focus on that feeling of joy. And that's when the good change comes through. Like, there's a lot of joy here for you. And, you know, your job is that you've got to tap into it. And that's how we tap into it. And you're really going to start appreciating yourself a whole lot more. Like, and that's going to give you more joy. It's like, oh my God, I'm doing what I love. And, you know, and just by doing what I love, I release the outcome. And then so much cool stuff has happened. And you'll see synchronicities like, you know, traffic lights lining up. Like, you'll rock up to it. And then it will just turn green or whatever. Like, oh, thank you. And remember to say thank you. Because when you're like, oh, wow, that was like an amazing miracle. Thank you. Guess what? More keeps coming into you because you've created that space for it now. You've created a whole new, oh, goosebumps, belief system. Oh, oh, wow. Do you know how epic that is? Sometimes people can't even do that for their whole lives because they get stuck in their programming. Like, that's epic. Far out. Let's take a moment just to, like, absorb that. Just major change. Solar eclipse is major change. And because we've been through a lot of the crap, this is a good change. Okay. What other energy was brought in after the eclipse? Feeling 3 cards. 1. Taking longer than normal. 2. And that one. Mercury retrograde. Oh, this is reversed. Water element sensing. 4th house roots in reverse. So this is like your whole, I'll turn it this way. This is your whole foundation, the old false foundation that has just been revitalized, which has been renewed, which has been, it's new. It's like having new, you know when you like cut yourself and you wear a Band-Aid? And then it itches, it irritates, and you can't stand it. And you're like, oh my God, it's going to scar. And then eventually you take the Band-Aid off and there's new skin there, like magic, right? It's like, oh, it's the same, but different. And it's renewed. And that's what's happened with you. You've been through so much and it's been release. You know, big chunks of it. At the eclipses this year. So I think we had one in June and then November, December. So 3. I can't remember if there was anything at the beginning of the year. But it slowly shifts out. The energy, you don't even notice it. Because it happens so like quickly and slowly at the same time. But you've really like rejuvenated your whole soul. And your soul's had more of a breakthrough because if you're able to clear all that past situations, then you can hear your soul a whole lot clearer. So it's like a real stronger, it's a stronger connection. It's like having, you know, if you're trying to call someone and they keep dropping out, breaking out, you're like, was that my soul's voice or not? I don't know. It wasn't very clear. Now it's going to be a whole lot clearer. Like you're going to think something as simple as, should I buy this new deck? And the soul will be like, yep. There's messages in there for you. You know, or it could just be a feeling. You know, and somehow, like, if you don't have the money, you'll just get the money. So let's get some more. Ooh, well, we're going to take that. Okay, you saw that. I just, like, flew out, right? Temperance. Talk about healing. Okay, so I clarified that one. That's crazy. Oh, my God. You've gone through a lot, you know. It's more like it's purified your mind and your body. And it's brought you back to being a child again. Like how pure you were, how inquisitive you were, how easily you could play and disconnect from, you know, sadness. Like when you fall over, you're screaming, they cry, they let out all their emotions, and then they're over it, right? And then we're taught as we get older, that's not okay to do that. So we carry all that shit with us for the rest of our life. It just builds and builds and builds and builds. And then sometimes you'll have addictions, or, you know, you'll fall into a depression because we're taught to hold all that stuff inside. That's socially, oh, now that you're an adult, it's not acceptable. You know, and why shouldn't it be? Why does it change from being a child and processing your emotions to being an adult and not being able to? I mean, most people act like kids anyway. Emotionally. Justice. Balancing of the senses. Page of Swords came out again, this time in reverse. That's fantastic. And now the King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so you know how sometimes we're allowed to think big, but sometimes the steps to, like, our, let's say, our biggest goal, we get so brought down to earth when we don't get the biggest goal quickly. And that's what kills our vibe. And that's what stops fortune coming in. Because when we're like focused in the present moment and we're just thankful for things like the lights changing, how can you hate your life? How can you be upset because you don't have that big goal? Because you know what would happen if you got that big goal straight away? You haven't got the, I'm struggling with words. I don't want to have to say it because it sounds mean. But do you know what I mean? You haven't built up that emotional intelligence enough to realize, like, that's what life's about. And I do this too, so I'm not shaming anyone. We always want the big goal, which the big goal, you're allowed to have the big goal, but then we're going to attach a time frame to it from our ego, right? And that's when it gets toxic for us. Whereas if we're just like, you know what, I'll tell you, like, my little win, you know, my big win is obviously for a lot wider audience to be reached with my messages, you know, and I'm 3 years in and it's slowly starting to happen now, not so much on YouTube, but TikTok. And then my guides were like, well, set up another page for your services. I'm like, oh, I don't want to, you know, and then the ego kicks in and goes, oh, but, you know, I failed the last time, or then I got too exhausted. I didn't want to do the coaching anymore. It was amazing, but it took too much of my energy. I'm like, I just can't. You know, well, I've been trying to heal my nervous system, which I think a lot of you guys have too. But they're like, yeah, but it's different now. So that's the ego's voice trying to compare my situation now with the past. You've grown a lot, you've learned a lot, you listened to us eventually, and you rested, and you've done a lot of healing. So now just do a page of your services. And you know what? It took me 4 hours. They channeled 3 services that I could offer. And I'm like, at least I've got something there in case, like, my TikTok blows up more. Because then it's like, well, I haven't thought to the next stage. Do you know what I mean? So I always just, my guides are like getting me to think of the next step. Okay, but when it happens, what do you have in place to cater for people? And this is kind of what I'm saying to you. So, like, try not to go to the big goal. Go to the next step. And you're getting that soul guidance and your guides are coming in. And they're letting you know what to do. So please, if something comes up and your ego compares it to something in the past that didn't work out, it's different now. You're different now. You've processed a lot. Your energy has changed. You've had lots of shifts. You've gone through lots of chaos. You've learned a lot. You've released a lot of subconscious programming. Things are different now and you are being rewarded with this Justice card. So just sense that things are different. You have been reinvented. Your world has been turned upside down. You've got better roots now for this goal in the future. Does that make sense? But we just need to all accept that all we need to be is in the present moment and being grateful now, being thankful for the little miracles that we get every day, then we learn to program ourselves